Hello, everybody. Coming to you with the first episode of Tales from the Working Class. Have my favorite person in the whole world here with me. Um,
That's me.
this should be pretty interesting. I come from a small town in the Midwest, as does my guest here, but our communities were a little bit different, I would say. Where you came from was the wealthiest part of the state. Where I came from was actually the third wealthiest part of the state, but it's kind of shocking when you drive around Greenfield to think that it's the third wealthiest county in our state, which Indiana's a poor state, so I guess maybe that makes sense. But I didn't really ever feel like I grew up around wealth, but it was one of the wealthier areas of the state. But I always felt poor compared to Noblesville and Carmel when I'd go visit there. So here with us today, we have my sister, as of a month ago now, Andrea de Los Santos. Why don't
You're gonna have to get used to that.
I know it's kind of weird saying that. Every time I see it, I'm like, De Los Santos. I didn't even know that was his last name. So why don't you tell everybody kind of where you're from and a little bit about where the area you grew up in?
Well, I am from Noblesville, Indiana, which you're right, was a very rich area, not as snooty as Carmel, but I wasn't really raised in the rich area of Noblesville. I was normally in apartments, or when we finally did have a house, it was like on the north side of Indiana or of Noblesville, so it wasn't where all the rich people lived. I lived in the poor area of Noblesville, except if you went south of the train tracks. We weren't allowed to go south of the train tracks.
Is that where we used to live when we were young?
Yeah.
Oh, that blue house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, the blue house was at like where the train tracks were. If you went any more south of that, that's where, as my mom called it, the slums of Noblesville, where if I had a friend out there, I couldn't spend the night.
In my brief time with DCS, we did get a lot of calls from that area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it.
It was notorious at DCS.
In Seminary Park too, there's a park in downtown Noblesville we were never allowed to go to. My sister went one time. I do remember her getting in trouble, maybe more than once, but yeah. Okay. My mom tried to keep me out of trouble. She wouldn't let me go pretty much anywhere unless it was with somebody that she knew, and I never really had a chance to make a lot of friends outside of my close circle of friends that I had.
Okay. So. And you met most of your friends, I guess, in school, probably?
All of my friends I met in school. One of them I've been friends with since second grade. She's still one of my greatest friends, and the rest, they all faded, but not very many people that I still am friends with live in Noblesville or Indiana for that matter.
Okay. Yeah. Was Noblesville so in Greenfield we had like 5 different elementary schools, and then you would have the elementary schools that were kind of like on the poor side of town, which you didn't realize that was the case until you went to like junior high or high school, and then you realized all the poor kids came from your elementary school. Was it Noblesville like that?
No, we didn't have that because we had about, I think, 6 elementary schools, but they all had their own version of poor areas.
Okay.
Like if you went to Hazel Dell, there's apartments that were right there behind Fiesta that we lived in. That's where you went to school.
Yeah.
And there's also a trailer park over there, but there's also super nice houses too. So it all has changed a lot. There wasn't much diversity. Not at all.
Yeah, because I always thought your school was much more diverse than ours, but ours had 0 diversity. Yours seemed to have like a tiny little bit.
We had some African Americans. We had one Hispanic family, and they owned the only Mexican restaurant in town. But I mean, after I graduated, of course, it grew immensely and it got much more diverse than it is now. But growing up, I was very, very white.
Okay. Because I always thought it was like Carmel's pretty diverse, and then Hamilton Southeastern has gotten pretty diverse. I wasn't sure how Noblesville really was.
It was not.
I just remember when I went to your graduation, I remember thinking it was very white.
It was. It was. I mean, I'll tell people now. I mean, it's different now, but back when I would say middle school all the way through high school, there were, there were a few African American families, but there were no Hispanics other than that one family for the longest time. And then we started getting more, and then some Indian families, and that's it. There was nothing else.
Was there much, did you get a feeling there was like a bit of racism there, or?
There's always racism.
Yeah.
I mean, or they thought that they were Black and that they were ghetto and that they were part of some Crips versus Bloods. It was bad.
In Noblesville, huh?
The Noblesville, North versus South, Crips versus Bloods. I mean, my other brother even thought he was in a gang at one point. So.
Wow. Did you guys have much of like I don't know, like at Greenfield, we had a ton of like people that were from the country and grew up on farms and stuff. Did you have that?
No. Most of those people ended up going to Southeastern or Pendleton or.
What was you guys had a country school in your county? What was it, Hamilton Heights or something like that?
Heights, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Still
I
there.
wasn't sure how much of farm.
I'm pretty sure now they have like 3 high schools or something though now in Nobles.
Wow, that's crazy. I guess that helps with that then, because most of the, like, I mean, even like Greenfield has like a reputation for being like pretty racist, but you didn't really hear much of that in school or anything except for from mostly farm kids. Like they would kind of bring that kind of racist jokes to the cafeteria and stuff like that. But most of the rest of the people were just kind of like looking at them kind of weird, like, what century is this?
Yeah, pretty much how it went down.
Wow.
Crazy.
So you've mentioned your mom. Tell me, I guess I know this, but explain just your situation at home. Like, what was your home situation? Who raised you and stuff like that?
My mom and my stepdad raised me. My mom was a regional manager for a hair salon and tanning salon. So she would travel 4 days a week, and 1 day a week she would normally work from home. But her traveling included going all the way to Terre Haute and
wow, that's like
as far as there was this other town with a big old boot. I can't remember. She used to have to go to. I would love to go. She'd go to Muncie. She'd go to Anderson, of course, Noblesville. She was gone all the time. She'd get up early. She'd be gone till late. So my stepdad normally, he worked right down the street at a gas station. He was a manager, which is also what our dad does. So he would also get up super early, but he was always home early. So when I get home from school, he was there. And practically did all of the stuff waiting for mom to come home. And yeah, it was just them. Every other weekend I had to go to dad's house and see my awesome brother. But I kind of stopped doing that when I started working, which was 13, 14, 15.
Oh, dang. I forgot you started working that young.
Yeah.
Yeah, we start working young in our family. About the same age
I started working for mom when I was 13. I started cleaning tanning beds and sweeping up hair.
Yeah, I started working for dad the summer between 8th grade and freshman year, which I don't even know if that was legal, because I think you had to be 16, but.
It was not legal for me. They had to lie. I do remember that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But you can't get away with that stuff now.
No, I would imagine not. Yeah, it's pretty crazy we were able to do that back then. Oof.
Yep.
So you were raised by your mom, who worked at a hair salon, and your stepfather, who worked at a convenience store. So 2 working class jobs. How do you feel they really kind of, I don't know, raised you to view kind of, because you grew up in an area where you had a lot of kind of working class people struggling, and then you had a lot of wealthy people that were kind of just living that life. How did they kind of teach you to see that world?
For our family, a job was a job. A lot of my aunts and uncles didn't keep steady jobs, and nobody in my family had a white collar job. Not one person. Maybe a few parents that I had babysat for when I was younger. You know, I had one person in particular, I would spend the night for like a weekend and watch his daughter. He worked for Eli Lilly.
Mm.
That was like the first time I'd ever really met and been around somebody that I would say had a white collar job to where I aspired to be like them.
Yeah.
Because I never, my family, they were not rich. We did not have money on
Yeah.
my mom's side. And I didn't get to spend a lot of time with dad's side of the family to know what they were like, other than I know they lived out in the outskirts of town and I thought they were farmers my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. So, yeah, I didn't really think that there was much of a difference growing up between working class and a white collar job. I always thought that some of the working class jobs, like being an electrician or a plumber, they could pay as good as some of those white collar jobs. So that to our family, if you had a job, you had a job.
Yeah.
And that was your goal in life, was to work.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I definitely remember being taught to like take pride in work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I never thought that the American dream was to be in a skyscraper in downtown Indianapolis for me.
Yeah.
I always thought that I just wanted a good job and a family, and that I was going to be a hard worker no matter what I did.
Yeah. So obviously your family, it doesn't sound like your family taught you to kind of look down on working class people.
Never.
Okay.
Nope.
Did you ever get the
I
vibe?
remember
Oh, go ahead.
Mom used to tell me that the trash pickup men make some of the best money in the town.
Yeah.
I always believed it. They're not lying.
Yeah, they get paid pretty well, actually.
I
I remember, you remember my brother Josh, he did that for a little while. I was kind of shocked when I found out the starting pay, and it was like 15 years ago in Shelbyville, the starting pay was like $16, $17.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
holy shit, just to pick up trash? What am I
When
going to school for?
Rocky and Tasha went to go work for an electrical company making stupid money, and I was like, you're not even an electrician. How are you working here? I never understood it.
Yeah, that's what Mike does. He got into electrician work after high school. He stayed with
Yeah.
us. He's been doing it for like 20 years now. So I was about to ask you. Dang, I was going to ask you something. I forget what it was. Oh well, it'll probably come back to me here in a minute. So did your mom? Well, I know like from our dad, he was always pushing you to go to college. What about from your mom?
No.
No.
No, and Dad didn't push me like he pushed you.
Oh, that makes sense.
So let's go back there. Dad just wanted me to have a better life than he'd had.
Yeah.
But when I got into college, everybody was very happy for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I applied to like 5 colleges and was accepted to all of them, and I chose Ball State. But my only thing is nobody pushed me. The only person I can honestly say that pushed me and said, "You're going to college whether you like it or not," is Aunt Jane.
Ah, that sounds about right. I could see her saying that.
And then, I mean, they kind of let me figure out my life plans on my own, both mom and dad. And when college didn't work out for me, of course, everybody was upset, but they never tried to even make me stay.
Wow.
So
That's interesting. I did not get that hands-off approach. Dad was trying to push me into things like the entire time I was still in college.
No, I know. I mean, he was upset. I mean, I know mom was upset, but they didn't financially help me at all. I did everything on my own. They were there for me emotionally, and we all know I quit college for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But I have 2 trophies, so
Yay.
yeah. I wish they would have tried to stop me.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person that really said that they were disappointed in me was Aunt Jenny, Aunt Jane, and Misty.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything though, because I felt like it would have been not my place, because it was your life.
It needed to be somebody's place, and it was a long time ago, and
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm doing very well for myself, but
that is true. Yeah, I
I,
just wanted you to finish the semester at least, and then if you want to drop out, drop out. But I was like, you went so early into it. It was just like, oh,
I
you can't.
know. I was just lonely, and I'm an
Yeah.
introvert at times, and I didn't make friends, and I was sad and depressed and lonely. That's not how college was supposed to be.
No, I figured you would crush college because you're like everybody likes you and you're outgoing and
Yeah,
everything.
but I left every weekend
That's true.
to go home.
I remember what I was going to ask you now.
Hmm.
So you were talking about like your family and how they kind of taught you to kind of look at it, work as work, like kind of take pride in that. Didn't matter what
Right.
you're doing as long as you're working. But you grew up in Noblesville where there's a lot of money um, at school and just amongst like maybe not your friends so much because I think your friends were maybe closer to um, kind of the lifestyle you were living, but the kids at school and just the culture of Green or Noblesville, did you feel like there was this looking down on working class jobs and people?
Yeah,
Hmm.
all too often. And some of my friends that were less less off than me, I guess financially, in my family were more snooty, I guess, than
Okay.
us. I mean, I had one good friend that she just thought that she was God's gift to everything, and that no matter what anybody else did, they weren't good enough.
Hmm.
And she, my husband, she didn't. She lived in downtown Noblesville, and her friends were the rich friends, and she went to the rich parties, and she was the cheerleader, and she still to this day is one of the snobbiest people I've ever met in my life, and I don't get it.
Yikes.
Yeah, and
Yep. I remember like years after school and everything, kind of finding out the difference between parties in Noblesville and parties in Greenfield.
yeah,
I was kind of shocked by that because this is before, like now it would be pretty common, but um, you graduated what 2004?
hmm
2004. Okay, so I graduated 2000. You graduated 2004. I know going to parties like in Greenfield, you would usually have some. There was always alcohol.
yep,
Usually going to be some weed. That
yep,
was about the extent of it, unless somebody like was maybe doing acid, because acid was kind of a thing when I was in high school. I never did it myself, but a lot of my friends did. But usually you would only invite people to those parties if you knew they were going to be doing acid. It wouldn't be like where you would have 40 or 50 people at a party and people were doing acid. Like it would normally be a smaller crowd. But
right,
your school, you guys were doing pills like before pills were a thing. So,
yeah.
like, what kind of pills were you guys doing in your school?
uh, um, lots of pain pills, lots of Vicodin and whatnot, and a lot of ecstasy.
Were these morphine pain pills or no?
Not until probably senior year did we start dabbling with the bad ones,
Okay.
the oxys and whatnot. But I mean, even in sophomore year, freshman year, I was taking Vicodin and hydrocodone like it was nothing.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember finding out you did pills in high school, and I was like, man,
And
I
a
didn't even know where to
lot
get pills in high school.
of, oh, I can't even think of the name of the one that Adderall. Oh my gosh. We would stay up for a whole weekend and not sleep.
I
It
remember
was
that
bad.
a lot of people did that in college to help them stay up and study.
We just did it to stay up and play video games and talk shit all night.
Yeah, I've never tried Adderall. I've always wanted to try it once. I've heard
No,
it's
you don't.
I've heard it just keeps you laser focused on something.
You're the last person that needs Adderall.
Oh wow. Okay. I guess I will not try Adderall then.
Oh yeah, no. I honestly I threw one party once in my life at my house, and my sister and her boyfriend were asleep in my mom's room, and they slept through the whole thing. And I remember my mom came home from one of her out of town visits and found a syringe in my couch,
Oh,
and she thought for sure that I threw like this massive party, which I did. And I said, yes, I did throw a party, but that syringe was somebody's diabetes medicine, their insulin. And she's like, well, I'm going to take it to the hospital and get it tested. I'm like, that's fine. You can do that. But I promise nobody's shooting up anything in this house. But there was a lot of alcohol, weed, and pills.
Wow. So growing up, you obviously had some ideas on what to expect post high school and being an adult and that American dream thing. What exactly did you kind of go into when you dropped out of college and decided you were going to become an adult and enter that world? What were you kind of expecting?
Well, at the time, you'd think that the American dream was being a millionaire and starring on a reality TV show. But that was not my dream. I just wanted to make decent money, to have minimal debt, which didn't happen, and I wanted to have a family. That was my dream. I wanted a house and a husband and kids and a dog and land.
Yeah, because I know for me, like when I even through college, because I don't know, I don't feel like it really hits you until you actually become an adult and are out there having to work full time. But I kind of just thought like, two people are working full time, kind of get together, aren't really wasting their money, and they can have those things like a house and a decent life. And then it was kind of after I graduated, because I graduated right at the height of the recession. So when I graduated and kind of started seeing exactly how things worked, I was like, I feel like this is not what I was led to believe adulthood was going to be like.
No, I think now our American dream is securing a job in a field that we like that has good benefits. And to be able to afford healthcare and saving for retirement and paying down whatever debt we have, but still living comfortably.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my dream now.
Your oldest child is 12?
11.
11, going to be 12 next month?
No, February.
Oh, no. I was thinking your wedding date. That's not when you had him. So I was like, it's June 9th.
No.
So he's 11, going on 12. So he's still got some years ahead of him, but obviously he's about to enter middle school, right?
He starts middle school next year.
Yeah. So now that he's entering middle school, you're starting to think a little bit about like, oh crap, he's kind of a young man now. He's not a kid anymore. He's becoming a young man.
Have you seen him?
I know, he's huge. How tall is he now?
He is 5'6" almost.
5'6", good Lord. 5'6", and he's big offensive lineman.
190 pounds.
5'6", 190. So he's getting there. He's about to be the size of a man now. So what are you thinking for your kids? Like, what are you kind of hoping for them? Like,
wow,
would be the opportunities that are there for them and their generation?
I feel like I have no idea now what's going to happen for them. Everything's changing. I don't know if there's any new normal that's going to happen around here anytime soon. But for Colton, he is ADHD and dyslexic. Mm-hmm. So we've been powering through that. So when I look at him, I'm like, you have the potential to go to college, but we're going to have to pay for it. Unless it's a football scholarship, us, Michael and I, or whomever, we're going to have to end up paying for his college. Yeah. We're not poor enough to where he's going to get any government assistance.
Yeah.
And he is very bright, but he's not at that level where he can get a scholarship.
Yeah.
So I worry about him because when I ask him what he wants to do with his life, you can get one guess on what it is.
Video games?
Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. So he thinks he can be a video game programmer. Like that takes a lot. Like,
yeah,
you can do it, but it takes a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty competitive too.
Nolan, he swears he's going to be a policeman, so I'm not worried about him.
There you go.
I mean, he'll go to some kind of college. I I guarantee both of them go to college with Michael, myself, and Bertie and Ken and my mom. I know that they're going to have the help that they need.
Yeah.
I know that we're the people that are going to make them stay. Learn from my lessons, learn from Michael's lessons, because he didn't finish college either.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but he did a lot more than me.
Yeah, I forgot he did go to school for a couple of years before he quit.
Yeah, I don't know.
What kind of jobs do you see around where you live?
Retail, and more retail. Oh, car business, and then more retail.
So that is the new American dream, retail jobs.
It really is. It's either an office building that's being built or some kind of retail shopping center.
Yeah.
But then when you get further and closer to like North Dallas, Frisco area, that's where you have like all of the big tall buildings of corporate, whatever they are. Like our new Kia corporate center is here in Frisco.
Oh.
But it's like the regional managers that get to office in there. It's not even a corporate that we call for issues. It's like, okay, here's a new office for all you regional managers.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But everything's growing over here, so.
Yeah, definitely growing. Dallas is sprawling out. Pretty soon, I feel like Dallas is going to reach Oklahoma.
It's close.
How far is it to Oklahoma from where you live?
Like 45 minutes, not even.
How far is it to downtown Dallas?
Like 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Wow. And so you work at a car dealership doing warranty, something with warranties, right?
Something with warranties.
Okay. And you've been working for car dealerships for how many years now?
16 years. Oh my
16 years. Wow. God, isn't that, geez, I feel old now.
Since I was 18, yeah. So 16 years.
Wow. So that's pretty much been your only work experience outside of high school.
Except for the barbecue shop and the hair salon.
Yeah. So you've had 3 jobs or 3 career paths, I guess.
Yeah.
The auto one has its ups and downs.
Yeah, I have.
But you guys, so what would you say you've learned from your time in the auto dealership about just, I guess, work or the auto biz in general?
Well, I started off with a Chevy dealership for a little bit, but then when I moved to Texas, it was Saturn. And everybody knows what happened to Saturn. And I put my blood, sweat, and tears into those dealerships, or 3 of them. And when everything fell apart and we were literally sitting there selling the chairs that we were sitting on, I really thought that I was done with the car business until that owner bought 3 other dealerships, and I went to go work for him there. And it's shady. It's not the company I work for now, but in the past, I'd say 13 years of working for this specific group of people, they're we're going to do it this way, even though it's really not right, but we're going to get by with it just to get around all the curves that we have to go around to get to where we need to be. And I work on the service and parts side, not the sales side. So I can't tell you much about that, but I can tell you that every day it's a new challenge of how we can make more money.
Oh, yeah.
How we can get more cars in here. And now with my new job, my new employer, they do it the right way. They hire people. They hire attorneys, whoever, to come in, look at all of our stuff and be like, okay, if you go after this company, they have to give you this. So we got a bunch of parts pricing raises and labor rate raises just by hiring a company to do everything for us. When the other place would lie, cheat, and steal and do everything that they could to get all the money that they could.
Wow, I thought this was the same company that you'd always worked for. Is this a different company?
Yeah, I've worked for 3 years now. I've worked for this new company.
So how did you get with the new company then?
The old company said, okay, you make too much money. We want to try to keep you. So we're going to take you off salary and put you on $23 an hour. And I said, no, thanks. And that exact same day, the new company called me and said, we need a warranty administrator. Are you interested? And at the time, one of my really good friends, he worked there, and he told them that I was God's gift to warranty, and I was hired on the spot.
Oh,
and
man.
Now I make twice what I made at the old place.
That is a great deal.
Yep.
Wow. How are you guys? What's that?
It's rough right now with everything. Is that what you're gonna ask?
Yeah, I was gonna ask what's it looking like right now?
Well, due to our awesome government and that great loan that they gave everybody in the world, we have pretty much 2 months of guaranteed income to cover all the employees. But after that, they sent out an email that said, you need to save all the money you can because we have no idea what the future holds for us. We're doing probably half what we were doing and still making the same amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same way at our job. We're not even doing half what we were doing. I get paid right now is the last day I get paid to sit at home for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so we work for 2 weeks and then we work for 2 weeks and then sit at home for 2 weeks, but we get paid the whole time. But they're cutting our hours from 40 to 30 starting in 2 weeks.
We just went back to full time, like everybody, our full hours, everything's back to normal.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of the scary thing about right now, because as you know, I'm looking at trying to make a move, but it's pretty terrifying because everything's just kind of been delayed for a couple months because of all these loans and canceling evictions and all that stuff. So nobody really knows what the hell's going to happen in a couple months once all that loan money runs out and evictions and foreclosures start happening.
Yeah. We just re-signed our lease here at this house because I'm sure our landlord loves us. We've never been late on rent, never had a problem. He sent a message. He's like, how's everything going? I was like, oh, we're ready to sign the lease. He's like, what?
Did you raise your rent?
Of course.
Oh, how much?
Just $50.
Oh, man. Yeah, luckily our apartment complex did not raise our rent. We just renewed our lease for a little bit till the end of September, I think. Something like that. Yeah, let's see. Any tips for people that a little unfamiliar with the auto industry or a little scared when they go into auto dealerships for people?
Any tips for them?
Yeah.
Well, if they're going in to buy a car, I would say look online before you even step foot into a dealership so you know what you're looking for and what to talk about. Otherwise, you could very easily get that one salesman that's very pushy and tries to get you off of what you want and put you onto what he needs to sell to get off the lot.
Yeah.
And like I've been telling somebody, now is the time to buy. You're not going to find any better deals than what they have going on right now.
Yeah. What is it? So no money down and then no payments for 3 months and 0% interest on the life of the loan?
That's what they're advertising. That's a really good credit, but for sure, no interest and no payments. You may have to put money down, but both of the dealers I work for is no interest and no payments.
Okay. Wow. That's still pretty good.
Very good.
It certainly changes the resale equation of your car, because usually people always say you lose however many $1,000 as soon as you drive a new car off the lot. But if you're not paying insurance for the price of that loan, you're saving thousands of dollars too. How much money, like just on like a $30,000 car, how much money are you saving by not paying insurance for those 5 or 6 years?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'd say on average 5%, 4%. So
That's
it's a
pretty
lot of
good.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can
Um,
pay it off early if you make more than your minimum payment. You could have your car paid off in 3 years.
yeah. So with you dealing with all this stuff with school and your
Ugh.
kids and stuff now, has it kind of changed your view of our education system or teachers?
I'm hoping that my teaching at home is nothing like the teaching at school. Because that would be really bad. But my older child right now, what we're really focusing on is science and history.
Okay.
So he's learning about matter and the classification of matter
Mm.
in science. So we're doing a lot of hands-on stuff, like checking the buoyancy and density of certain household objects around here and having to take videos and then writing reports. And he just had to write a memoir about himself, which he wrote about football.
Okay.
And yeah, and then he's learning the world history, which is World War I, Great Depression, World War II. And I feel like I'm relearning again because I never really paid attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all videos. Everything he's watching is on this website or this website. And I know that if they were in a classroom setting, it wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
The teacher doesn't just turn on the TV and say, okay, class, watch.
Yeah.
That's how every single class is. He has to watch a video, answer questions, watch a video and answer questions. And it's like a cartoon video. It's not even a teacher.
Oh, okay.
The only thing that he has interaction with on the teachers is a flip grid that he has to do every Monday,
Mm-hmm.
which is stupid. And then every day, if he needs help, he can log into Zoom for a meeting for 30 minutes.
Mm.
That's it.
So
And my first grader only has to turn, his requirement is 1 assignment a week out of 23.
that doesn't sound too hard.
I make him do them all.
Okay. Don't let him know he's just got to turn in one.
No, it says optional something. I'm like, no, we're doing it.
With having a special needs child, how do you feel the cooperation you get from like the school and teachers has been with that?
That's actually the one thing. He has because he is dyslexic and ADHD, he's considered special education.
Mm-hmm.
So he not only has a dyslexic teacher or dyslexia teacher, but he has a resource teacher also.
Oh.
And she texts him and she calls him every day.
Wow.
And she's there from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock all day long if he needs her. And
Mm-hmm.
she'll FaceTime him and help him with whatever he needs. And he's only had to do it once, but every day she'll text him and be like, I'm here if you need. Well, it's a group of them.
Yeah.
She's like, log in. I'm here if you need me, whatever you need. And she'll call me. How's Colton doing? I'm looking at his work. And they're doing really good. It's the teachers that have 30 kids for each class they're just overwhelmed.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. 30 kids at once is a lot.
Yeah. And I talked to my first graders. I talked to his teacher and she said she's got 4 kids still in the class that she hasn't heard from since spring break.
Whoa. Yikes.
Yep. 9 weeks it's been.
Well, I guess those kids maybe don't have parents really caring about school so much.
Apparently not.
Jeez.
Which is, weird because we are in like the highest rated school district in Texas. So.
Wow, I did not realize that.
I am. That's why we live here.
Yeah.
I did it for schools.
You don't live in Frisco, right?
No, but they go to Frisco schools.
Okay. So Frisco School Corporation, that's where you want your kids going.
Frisco Independent School District, yes, sir. And then they'll go to, if we stay in this area, Colton will go to Oh my God, Lone Star High School, where they were number 2 in the state in football.
Oh, well, that would be good.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's the plan.
So are there any changes you feel are needed in the education system now that you've got some kids that have been in it for a while?
No, I mean, I wish that with all the shootings and whatnot, there's so many things that we can't do anymore that we could do 5 years ago. Like I used to be able to just walk in and bring the kids, cookies and say, here, Colton's mom brought cookies for the day, and I'd get to sit there and watch him in school. But you can't do that anymore. Those days are over.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
And I have to walk up to the door and show my ID and then ring a doorbell and tell them why I'm there. And the furthest I can go is the office. I can't even go into the school anymore.
Wow.
It's for their safety. I
Yeah.
get it, but it's sad that it's come to that, and there's nothing that they can do to fix it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize it cracked down that much.
And here in Frisco, they added extra recesses. Not that it matters anymore, but they added brain breaks and extra recesses. They get like four breaks a day now.
Wow.
They get to go outside for 3 of them, and then the other one's like a brain break where they just get to kind of walk around and do whatever just to get the ants out of their pants, I guess. I don't know.
For what age groups?
All of them.
Wow.
Elementary school.
Huh.
And so
When did they
Colton's
start
like,
doing it?
he's like, do I get recess next year? I'm like, middle school? No kid, you don't. I'm like, you missed out.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I feel like I could have used that when I was in elementary school.
I agree. I mean, especially I got in trouble all the time for talking too much and stuff. I know that's why. I was bored.
I know. It's like, what do you want me to do? I'm done with my homework.
Yeah,
I
I
got
know.
30 minutes to kill.
It's happening.
Let's see. One other thing I was going to ask you is, I guess, with everything going on in our country these days, what are some things that is this the wait a minute, backtrack first of all. I know you voted in a primary this time. Is that the first time you've ever voted in a primary?
Yes.
Wow, how'd that feel?
It felt worthless.
Yeah. It does feel like that sometimes.
I mean,
Now the crazy thing is the primary is where you actually get to pick if you're going to get a candidate that's going to actually try and change anything. It happens in the primary.
yeah.
Most people don't really vote in the primary. I think it's only like 5 or 6% of voters vote in the primary.
Yeah, this is my first primary, and it will not be my last.
Does Texas make it easy, or do you have to go do it in person?
You have to go do it in person, and I didn't know that you here. I don't know if I told you, there is Republican and
Yeah.
there's Democrat.
Yeah.
And you have to go to a Republican voting center, or you have to go to a Democrat voting center.
Okay.
So I went to the wrong one, and they were like, "You're here to vote." I was like, "Oh, no, I gotta go." Bye. Turned around and walked out. Sorry.
Colorado does it really easy. So if you're a registered Democrat or Republican, you just get mailed that ballot.
Yeah.
Like a month before the elections are due. And then you have like the entire month to go turn it in at any post office or like different community areas. Like they'll have because the one closest to me is it's like an old people gym or something. I don't know, some kind of community center.
Yeah.
But
I went to a senior community center, the first one.
yeah, that's where it is. But you just go drop it off, kind of like in a little voting. Sorry, it's the beeps coming home. My dog might start making noise. But if you're a registered independent, then you just get mailed both, and you get to pick which one you fill out, and the other one gets thrown in the trash. But everything's done by mail, so everybody automatically gets mailed a ballot for primaries and general election. Like it's so easy to vote here. But I know a lot of states are opposing mail-in voting for some reason. I don't understand it.
I'm on the Nextdoor app.
Yeah.
And it says, I got a notification. It says, say no to mail-in voting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. It makes it real easy. I'll tell you that.
It says we stand in line at Target, Walmart, Lowe's, etc. We can stand in line in November. Say no to mail-in voting. Make this go viral. And they were like, why?
Uncle Jay had a post about that recently, saying the
Uh,
same kind of thing.
that's nice.
So now that you are
Hey, sweet.
now that you are a primary voter, what kind of things are you hoping to see change in your country before you die?
I don't know. Changing in the country.
Yeah, what are some things you feel need to change as we're heading into this 21st century?
I think that we might be, I mean, it's more of a woman thing, but we actually talked about it the other day at my birthday party, that we're like the only country left, I think, that doesn't have mandated maternity leave.
Yeah.
And after these last 8 weeks, I will vouch that we do not pay our teachers enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to get political, but our current president, if there's anything I could change, that would be one of them. Anybody else could take his position.
Yeah.
No.
The crazy thing about how little we pay our teachers is we actually spend more per student on education than I think
know.
any other country in the world.
We are like the only country that has, you have to go to school.
But our teachers are paid like really low compared to many other countries. So it kind of makes me always wonder, where's that money going?
I have a cousin that decided to move to, I have no idea where, somewhere in Europe.
Oh.
And she has an older child. And if I told you the age, I'd be lying, but it's definitely maybe second, third grade should be. Okay. Never has gone to school a day in her life.
Where?
Because she chooses not to. And wherever they live in Europe, it's so easy to just say she's homeschooled, even though she's not.
Wow.
So I have this cousin that refuses to school her children, and she's decided that the life lessons that they live is the education that they're going to get.
Well, that could be.
Yeah, I found that out the other day. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, I feel like here it's all about material and money, and we spend less time on what's important. We spend less time enjoying life with family and friends, and that we need to focus more on that and less on making money and coronavirus.
Yeah. What have you thought about the way this coronavirus has kind of been handled?
I think it depends on the state, really. I mean, here in Texas, it took them too long to shut stuff down, I think. I think shutting stuff down was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's even coming from a girl whose complete and utter wedding dreams were demolished.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe at the end of the March, they probably should have just shut everything down then and just now be reopening, and we wouldn't have as high numbers as we do. Mm-hmm. But just yesterday, Nolan and I went over across the street to the cell phone repair place, mm-hmm. and you couldn't even walk inside without a mask.
Yeah.
And that's not something that they're saying is required by law, but I guess places are requiring it now.
Yeah, some places are.
I didn't know, because the only place I go is working home.
Yeah. Yeah, where did I go? I went somewhere. Where the heck? I went somewhere the other day, and I just happened to bring a mask with me because I was just thinking, what if I need it? And then as soon as I got there, they had a sign on the door that said you couldn't even come in without a mask on. Oh, but somewhere I ordered takeout from. So I was like, well, I'm glad I brought it because I wouldn't have been able to get my food without it. But
yeah, and we have masks. I have a box of paper ones.
Yeah.
And I've ordered 6 nicer ones, and it's been weeks. I haven't gotten them yet.
Is your job making you wear them?
No.
Really?
Now, we did have we did have one of our, not one of our employees, but one of our body shop employees tested
Mm.
positive, actually 5 of them.
Oh,
And one of them did come to our store last week, like
yeah.
a week and a half ago. So the people that came in contact with him all had to go get tested, and I was one of them. There was 6 of us, 8 of us. There's quite a few of us. We all got tested. We were all negative. My results came back yesterday. They were negative. A few of
That's
them
good.
the day before were negative. One today negative. So for a couple of days there, we were a little scared,
Yeah.
but we're all negative. So that's the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life.
What's what? The test?
Yeah.
What do they do?
They stick the Q-tip all the way up here to your membrane.
Oh, shit. I didn't
It
know that.
hurt so bad.
I thought they just took like a saliva sample or something.
No, it's a
Oh,
Q-tip that goes up your nose all the way up here into your membrane.
damn.
It hurt for 2 days. Just thinking about it makes my eyes water.
That sounds painful. Yikes.
It was bad.
Yeah, we have
You
to
know
wear
how they
masks
do
at work.
well, see, we did for those 2 days. Well, I didn't work yesterday, but we did on Friday because I was scared. What if I had it? I don't want to give it to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. You
But
guys,
here in our county, we're getting like 10 to 12 cases a day right now. It's not a lot anymore.
no. I know,
Maybe one death every few days or so.
like the place I live in Colorado, it's a town of about 350,000. It has the highest like percentage of,
Yeah.
I don't know, like per person or whatever. We have the highest death rate in our state, but we also have the most, like, it's where all the immigrants and like live too. And I know the like poor brown communities are getting hit harder by coronavirus, so it kind of makes sense when you
Yeah.
have a little higher numbers, but it's still such a small number of like the total population that I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like they're going to be able to stay closed for that much longer without people getting really upset. Because I mean,
It's true. I mean, I was one of those, you know how, I don't know what groups you're in or whatever, but there's a lot of people that were upset they couldn't get their nails done and get their hair
oh,
done. And
I haven't got a haircut
I,
in like 6 weeks. I'm not worried about that. But
I found an underground nail salon, and
yeah,
I had my nails done the whole time.
yeah. Now it's funny to me like what they decided was essential versus non-essential. Like somehow
Yeah,
fast food was essential, but and like alcohol was essential, but
and
that's another
selling a
thing.
car is essential.
Yeah, yeah. I don't understand.
I get repairing a car. I get people's cars break down
Yeah,
and they have to bring them into the dealership, but I did not understand sales being open. That
yeah,
made no sense. Well,
yeah.
those cars break down, they might want to buy a new car.
Because even back in like late January, very early February, when I was working at the airport here in Denver, I remember we had like there was like a TV that was in the room. We always had it on like either the news or sports. But then once sports went away, it was just on the news all day long. So we were always talking about the coronavirus, and we all work at an airport. And we even
Yeah.
back then we were saying we really need to be shutting like the airports, all of them, down for like 2 or 3 weeks, not letting people travel, kind of containing this thing, and then kind of reopening. But that obviously wasn't what happened. Now it's gotten kind of crazy. They're talking about
I
sports
mean,
not coming back till 2021 with fans anyway.
right. I remember, Izzy's family, they came last weekend and the weekend before. They flew from Denver to here. 2 weekends in a row, $20 flights.
Oh yeah, they're cheap, super cheap, super cheap.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Well, the airlines right now are trying to get Congress or whoever, somebody in the government, to let them cut flights even more. Because I guess the number of flights they're flying right now is like the legally mandated amount
Mm,
based on that money they got. But they're saying it
yeah,
doesn't make sense for them to be flying this many flights with only like 15, 16 passengers, which
that's
I can kind of
crazy.
understand. If you're only flying your flights at 10% capacity, it's going to be ugly though here because we're over here. The airport's the biggest employer in the entire state, and October 1st they are going to do massive layoffs, and it's going to really rock this Denver economy pretty bad. At least Dallas won't be hit that hard by it.
And the aren't the meat manufacturers too shutting down up there?
Uh,
Cow.
they don't really have any over here where in like the Denver area. I know up by where Easy's family lives in Greeley, they have a
And
big one.
Greeley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's been in the news quite a bit because they had a bunch of people get coronavirus, and then they refused to shut the thing down, and then I think they had a number of people die, and then I think that people just started called into work so much that they didn't really have enough people to really keep running it. So it seemed like they shut it down or were forced to shut it down by the government for a little while, but now that
Right.
now they're starting to cry and talk about we're going to have meat shortages and
Oh, I know. Everybody here is buying everything. It's not toilet paper anymore. It's meat.
yeah, at our grocery store too. I don't know if it's
I know.
just chicken, but I know the chicken has a sign you can't buy more than one or two. But turkey and beef and pork seem like you can buy as much as you want right now.
I'll show you this picture my Kroger lady sent me today. I don't know if you could see it. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
pork shop.
yikes! No
There's
pork
no
chops for you.
pork. Yeah, I wanted to make some of Dad's pork steaks for dinner.
That sounds good.
Yeah, well.
Oh, okay. Um, let's see. Trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to discuss. I think we covered most things.
I think you hit them all.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No? Mm-mm. Not
Okay.
really.
For anybody that's made it to the end of this thing, if they ever come to
I'll watch
visit,
it.
if they come to visit Dallas, where is one place they should definitely go for food if they're in the Dallas area?
Dallas or North Dallas, where I live?
Either or. North Dallas, I guess.
I'm into barbecue. When you come to Dallas, you have to have barbecue. And
Yes.
I always take you to barbecue places, but we
Yes.
have one here. It is our favorite. It has surpassed everybody else's. It's Hutchins Barbecue. It's so good.
I don't think I've been there yet.
No, you haven't because it's very expensive.
Well, hopefully it'll be
But
open in 2 weeks and I can celebrate my new job there.
they have been open this entire time just for to go. Oh, or Babe's Chicken. You know me, I love Babe's Chicken.
Yes, that's the place. If you're there, those are all over Dallas, right? That's like a big
Yes.
chain. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're in Dallas area, go to Babe's Chicken. You will
And
not
have
regret it.
banana pudding.
What's that?
And you have to have the banana pudding.
I didn't even have the banana pudding when I was there.
Why?
I don't know. I
You're
don't like
full
banana
off of
pudding.
chicken, huh? Well, then you gotta have the banana pudding.
Yeah, they got a lot of pie. It's yeah. So you're gonna hate yourself when you leave there, but it's gonna feel good.
The best salad in the world, and all it is lettuce.
Yeah, that place is. Yeah, everything there is good. It's really good. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully, this will put everybody else at ease about doing this, and they won't be scared and think it's going to be a
Tell them not to be
horrifying thing.
scared. I'm not scared.
Yeah, I think some of my coworkers were thinking I was wanting to get them on here and get them talking shit about the company or something like that, but
Or politics.
well, yeah, not really trying to do either of those things. So hopefully this will give me a nice example to show people, and they'll be a little more willing to do it with me.
Well, I have to go put up groceries now.
All right, well, have fun with that. Enjoy. Give the boys a kiss for me, and
I will.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okie dokie.
Bye.